Over the years, LEGO has made sets based off of countless different movies, TV shows, and video games, yet there is one genre that they seem to be too scared to touch. That is, of course, horror, and while it obviously makes sense that a toy company might not want to make toys based off of horror movies, they are really missing out on a real goldmine of potential sets. So since Halloween is rapidly approaching, today we'll be looking at what could happen if LEGO made sets based off of classic horror movies. The first movie that I knew I had to make in LEGO was The Exorcist, which to this day is probably my favorite horror film. I based this first set off of the McNeil house, which is where most of the movie takes place, and included 3 minifigures, the first of which is of course Reagan. She's wearing light blue pajamas with polka dots and has dual molded short legs. She uses the Hermione hairpiece in dark orange, and she has 2 facial expressions, both of which show the effects of her possession. One is grinning, and the other has white eyes and a blank expression, which is how she looked when floating. Next is Father Marin, and he wears a black hat which can be swapped out for a white hairpiece. He has a serious expression with glasses on, and he's wearing black vestments with a pectoral cross and a purple stole. Finally, the last minifigure is Father Karras. I gave him the shaggy hairpiece in dark brown, and he's wearing a black cassock. His facial expression is a tired one with some stubble, and his alternate facial expression shows him with green eyes after allowing Pazuzu to possess him. And as that old saying goes, speak of the devil and he shall appear. While I don't consider this an actual minifigure, I did want to highlight this design of the Pazuzu character that I made. It's just a creepy looking head with some transparent pieces attached to it in order to attach it to the wall and recreate some of the jump scare scenes. And a kind of funny unintended consequence of this design that I didn't really realize until recording this is that he kind of looks like a tadpole. One more quick thing before we take a look at the main build, I made these 2 small accessories for the priests. The first is this small bottle of holy water, and the other is a Bible, inside of which is a small print of a passage in which Jesus performs an exorcism. Moving on to the main build, the exterior consists of a bunch of dark red bricks and some white windows, as well as a sand green roof, and the perimeter of the house has a sidewalk and a gate which can open to the front door. I also just had to include this lamppost, which allows you to recreate one of the best movie posters of all time. Moving on to the inside of the build, you can see a small bench and the Pazuzu artifact from the beginning of the movie, which I recreated as a small Easter egg. To the right of that is a room with a large piano build and some family pictures on the wall. And then moving up to the second floor, I knew I had to include the staircase build in order to recreate the iconic spider walk scene. Then the stairs lead up to a small hallway where the priests deliberate over how to deal with Reagan, as well as a door which leads into her room. Inside of her room is her bed, a nightstand with a lamp, and the chair that the demon uses to block off the door. The bed has a play feature which allows you to make it levitate, and before you comment, yes, I know it was just Reagan who levitated, not her bed, but I think this is a close enough approximation. It was either this or not even try to recreate the scene at all, so I think this is a much better option. The other play feature in this room is this window that can pop right out, allowing Father Karras to sacrifice himself like he does at the end of the movie. The box art for this set is in the style of the 18+ sets that LEGO has started doing, and has some Exorcist logos on the side and on the front. Now, this next set is based off of one of the most iconic movies of all time, and definitely in the running for one of the best horror movies ever, but it isn't quite done yet, so in the meantime, I thought I'd bring back an old LEGO Halloween tradition, Bricktober packs. If you don't quite remember, let me jog your memory. LEGO used to release one of these every week in October, with 4 exclusive minifigures from all sorts of different themes. So today, I've made 4 figures from various classic horror movies. First off is Leatherface, the guy who kicked off the slasher trend of the late 70s and 80s. I did my best to capture every detail on his mask in order to really sell the look of this character, and gave him the Harry Potter hair in dark brown, which I think really captures the messy look. He's wearing a short-sleeved striped shirt with a yellow apron over it, which has a couple of suspicious red bloodstains on it, and then he also has a blue tie, and his accessory is none other than the titular Texas chainsaw. Next is the first Stephen King character in this video, but certainly not the last, that being Carrie. Here she is in her iconic prom outfit covered in pig's blood. She's wearing the prom queen tiara and has a shocked expression, with just about every part of this figure being covered in blood. I debated over whether or not to include Ash Williams, as well as the last figure in this Bricktober pack, because they are both a little later than I would have liked. I wanted to make figures from 1980 or before, but ultimately I think that they both qualify as classic horror characters, and they are both very fun figures. Anyway, all that is to say, the next figure is Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. He has his iconic crazy laughing expression and is looking quite battered and beaten. I gave him the Benny arm piece from the LEGO Movie 2 in order to give him his chainsaw arm, and then his other accessory is a shotgun. Finally, the 4th figure in this Bricktober pack is none other than Pennywise the Clown, played by Tim Curry, and I got a ton of requests for this back when I made the 2017 2017 version, so even though this character is from a miniseries in 1990, I still think he qualifies as a classic horror villain. He has a new hairpiece to capture the look of his oversized head, and his outfit is yellow, turquoise, and purple, with some red and white details here and there. He has a creepy face with a red nose and yellow teeth, and then his accessory is a blue balloon. Real quick, here's a look at the box art that I designed for this Bricktober pack, but I'm now just about done with the final set in this video, which is none other than the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. And just to spice things up, I've included some small references throughout this set to several of Stanley Kubrick's other movies, so make sure to be on the lookout for those. As always, we'll begin with the minifigures, the first of which being Jack Torrance. He uses the receding hairline hairpiece in brown, and his facial expression is actually based on the Jack Nicholson Joker figure from a while back. His accessory is obviously his axe, and he has an alternate expression where he doesn't look quite so happy. Next up is his son Danny, who has the shinning. He's a pretty simple figure with a bowl cut hairpiece, dark blue overalls, and a smiling facial expression, which can be swapped around for a scared expression. And then I also built this small tricycle for him to ride, which I think is pretty accurate, but he has to lean back pretty far to use it. The last of the Torrance family is Wendy. She has a black ponytail hairpiece and a worried facial expression. She's wearing a blue robe, a green button-up shirt, and boots. Her accessory is the knife that she uses to attempt to fight off her husband, and her alternate expression is her screaming in terror. Halloran is a pretty simple figure. He has a big grinning facial expression and is wearing a blue suit jacket, gray pants, and beige shoes. The first build for this set is the red snowcat, and I didn't originally include this when I designed it last year. However, I thought it needed a side build and that this would add some nice color. So it's a pretty simple build with grill pieces used as treads and a small bed in the back to transport deliveries. The main build is of course the Overlook Hotel. The angles in the set were definitely a struggle to achieve, but I think they turned out quite nice, specifically with the roof. The entrance of the hotel leads right into the lobby, and inside of the lobby is the desk where Jack writes his novels, and there's a typewriter in the middle with some papers which all read, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." Behind the desk is a small hat rack with a bowler hat, a military helmet, and a three-point hat, and on the right is a small chair, and then above the desk is a chandelier made of a pirate ship steering wheel and some fez hat pieces. Then on either side of the wall are pieces of Native American artwork. Directly to the right of the lobby is the elevator, and the door to the elevator is actually connected to a pin on the exterior wall, which can be opened to reveal several circular tiles that all spill out to recreate the elevator blood scene. Next to this is the bar in the gold room. There's a small seating area and a bar with drinks, including some bottles, a mug, and a carton of milk. And then to the right is a facade of the door to the bathroom, and a figure that I made of the bartender. Taking a closer look at this figure, we can see that he has slicked back hair, a grinning facial expression, a black bow tie, and a dark red suit jacket. Right above this is the long hallway where Danny meets the Grady twins, and these figures are pretty simple and almost identical, with both of them wearing a blue and white dress and using the Hermione hairpiece, the only difference being that one of them is smiling slightly. Other than that, there's not much to this section, so moving on to the left, the bottom section is the kitchen and the freezer. Inside the kitchen are some plates and pans, and a white and blue tray of food, and then inside the freezer are assorted boxes and cans, and a shelf to put them on. Finally, the last section of the set is the bedroom. The actual bedroom section has a bed with a green book on it, a painting of a bear, and a model spaceship as a reference to Danny's Apollo 11 sweater. Next to that is the bathroom with a toilet and a tiled off floor, and the door connecting these two rooms has red rum written on it, as well as a transparent section to approximate the hole that Jack axed into the door. There's also a window on the side of the bathroom, which leads to a large pile of snow that Danny can climb onto and slide down to escape his father. So here's the set all together, and here's the box art that I made for the set, with the same 18+ style that I made with the first set and the logo for The Shining. Alright, so I wanted to get this video out like 2 days ago, and I still have another video that I want to get out for Halloween, so I'm gonna go get to that and start editing this one. So yeah, that's about all I have for you guys today. Have a great day, and go build something awesome.